Hello, and welcome to another episode of my podcast, Brothers to a Disagreement. In this episode 12, I have invited my friend Andrea Modesto from Italy to talk with me about different subjects. In this episode, we talk about parenthood, we talk about omnipotence, we talk about war, we talk about the Mafia. We talk about justice. We talk about truth and other subjects too. I think our conversation is rather interesting and relevant to the issues going on in the world today. I hope you enjoy it and invite you to comment, especially if you find anything problematic in what we are saying. So, goodbye.
Okay, all right. Good.
Good. Thank you. How are you?
Hard time.
Hard time.
Yeah.
Would you like to share in what aspect?
Yeah, fatherhood is demanding.
Yes. I still don't know. I still don't have a child, but I can surely imagine.
Yeah, sleeping. I mean, it's a dream sleeping now.
Can I suggest something?
Yeah, sure.
So I don't have a relationship with a human. I have a relationship with my cat,
Yes.
and I have
Easy,
a.
right?
It's easier, I guess, yes. But my cat is very annoying.
Hmm?
She's a very annoying cat, and she's getting old. She's already 16 or so, and she has these meows that are e- at least, well, they still do, but today much less so. They're driving me crazy. She's nagging, and the way she meows is just so terrible. And like maybe a month ago, or a little less even, maybe 3 weeks ago, she woke me up in the night 5 times, a few nights in a row. And I couldn't take it anymore. And I thought, first, it made me very aggressive towards her. And I tried, at one night, I said, she meows because she wanted me to. She doesn't like the water in the bowl. She likes the running water from the faucet. So she wakes me up and wants me to turn on the water. And one night, I said, I'm gonna wake up, and instead of giving her the water, I'm going to shake her and go back to sleep. So she doesn't get what she wants, and she gets something bad. And I did this, and and it didn't help. The following night, she meowed the same. So I said, this isn't going to solve my problem. And I hated doing it, it's not, don't like being aggressive. And I didn't know what the hell I'm going to do. So I thought that really crossed my mind is maybe it's time for her to go. Maybe
Hmm.
it's time for me to give her the injection. You know, she's 16 years old. She had a okay life with me. I treated her nicely, I think, and but I couldn't do such a thing to her. I cannot take her life because other than her nagging, she's okay. She's not uh, she's not sick or anything.
Why she's nagging so much?
Because she wants the running water. I bought her, what I did to solve this is I bought her a faucet, an electric fountain that gives her the streaming water all the time. So that solved that problem, that solved it. And but I did something else. Uh, her her nagging is really disturbing, and it triggers me emotionally very, very strongly. And what I decided to do, which helped me a lot, first of all, I decided I'm not going to be aggressive towards her at all. What I'm going to do, I'm going to freeze, when she is nagging, I'm going to freeze, do nothing, concentrate on her meowing sounds and how they are affecting me emotionally, and just concentrate on that. And I saw that her meows, her nagging, uh, affected me very forcefully, very strongly. It just made me It gave me so much pain, and which raised so much anger. It was nothing in the world makes me so angry like her meowing. And I just concentrated on that and my emotions, and I started trying to understand the mechanism, how it's working. She's meowing. This makes me triggers my emotion, and so what I do, I just hold it, let it pass, and slowly I've become more and more immune to her nagging. I don't do what she asks me to do. Eventually I do. I give her water or food, whatever she wants, but not immediately, not whenever she wants it. And I am never anymore since 3 weeks. I'm not aggressive to her, and I don't intend to be. So and there's a underlying thought behind this relationship, a few thoughts, and this anger, this emotional anger. I think cats have sound, their meows sound a little bit like a baby's sound. And I believe that this affects human beings, like it's a evolutionary symbiosis. The cat perfected their meows to make people do what they want. Yeah. And so this trigger, I think, is evolutionarily it evolved the cat's meows and the emotion it triggers in the human being. Also, of course, the baby, and of course, other people's anger affects us emotionally very immediately and very forcefully. And I think the best thing we can do uh, to begin with is to just stop and observe our emotions without doing anything, not going away, not fighting back, freezing. freezing and concentrating on the emotion and just staying there. So this is my suggestion. Just stop and don't go and don't attack. Just freeze and concentrate on your emotions.
The wooden rooster.
Sorry?
The wooden rooster.
The wooden rooster, exactly.
Yeah, actually, I had the same problem, and sometimes I still have with Giulio when he cries, especially the first year. I remember it was for me unbearable to stay there and not knowing what to do in order to make him stop crying, and sometimes I did what you suggested just now. And by the way, it was a chance to reflect about my emotion, why I got so sad and at the same time angry, let's say, when he was crying so much and I couldn't stop him. And one hypothesis I got is that in those situations I feel impotent. I don't know what to do. I would like to do something, even because I feel a bit guilty since I am the father. I should know what to do in order to make him feel better. Yeah, make him stay better. But I don't. I don't know. So that feeling is a feeling of impotence that I cannot bear, and I tend to translate, let's say, transform the impotence in angry. In a way, it's angry. I think is a way to express impotence. Yeah. So the problem there, the challenge is to accept oneself impotence.
Yes,
So in order to do what you're suggesting, I guess the condition is to be able to stay in the impotence and to be okay with your impotence. Otherwise, you if you refuse it, you get angry, and then it's usually is even worse than before.
exactly.
But
Exactly.
but yeah, it's always a big challenge to accept the impotence in a way. Yeah, I mean, I guess all humans tend to, I mean, to avoid that feeling because it's not a good feeling. Yeah, when you feel impotent. So in a way, there is a there is a part of us that prefer to get angry because the angry is a reaction of the impotence. You, in a way, you think to be more potent, more powerful by getting angry. So I think it's a kind of an illusion that the humans create in their mind. They, by getting angry, they have the impression they are less impotent. But actually, I guess it's just the opposite. Yes. So yes, it's a big challenge basically to for me in this situation to manage my own emotions and uh, just Cecilia's emotions and Julio's emotions. So if I had to conceptualize, I guess my own biggest problem right now is emotions. Yeah.
Uh, I think it's I'm not sure I would say emotions uh, because I think we have a lot of especially in our area of philosophical thinking we have I think many uh, how do you call it, judgments about emotions and being emotional and that. I think, tell me if you agree. How about like pain? Pain. Towards pain, we're less judgmental, and I believe that this feeling of impotence, this feeling is very, very painful. Is very, very painful. It's unbearable how painful it is.
Yeah.
And I want to add that what we're talking about is so relevant, especially today. Sorry. You know, I don't know
You
if you heard
you mean in a general international problem and war or what?
today Israel has struck Gaza.
Say again. I strike Gaza, which means sorry.
Israel has struck Gaza. I think the Israeli Air Force has struck Gaza,
You mean destroyed?
killed many people, many Gazans, many Hamas warriors and
Palestinian
civilians, probably
Palestinians
Palis
people.
Palestinian people, and maybe hostages, Israeli hostages, and uh, and and this ceasefire period in which hostages and prisoners were exchanged. It was a very difficult time for, as an Israeli person, it was very emotionally charged. It was both good, hostages were freed, and very, very, and it felt very, very the impotence, felt impotence. How you can't do that? There are still, I don't know, 70 more hostages. I don't know how much of them alive, and we can't do anything to get them back. We have to play by Hamas's rules, and if we want to get them back, we have to speak with them, and we have to deal with them in a civil manner. And Israel, I don't know, Netanyahu, the current government couldn't take it anymore, and they attacked. They were, and this attack will probably, my guess is, it means that the chances for the living hostages right now in Gaza, Israeli hostages, chances of their getting back alive
How
have just
many?
gone.
How many hostages there are there?
I think there are 70 hostages, but amongst, I think there are about 30 who are still alive. So 40 dead hostages, I think, and 30 live ones. Now, I don't know, and I don't know what the chances are now of getting them back alive. And so I woke up this morning to this news, and I really hate it. It's this dynamic of being impotent and thinking that anger will solve the problem. And it, as you said, it just makes it worse. And the hardest thing to do, like the wooden rooster, the hardest thing to do
Not to
is to
do any.
not to do anything.
Yeah, in a way, is a bit like to die inside, you know.
Yeah,
It's like to accept to die. To yeah, I maybe it's not that, let's say, problematic, but you know, in Italy we have many problems with mafia and stuff, and I've been studying a lot about this topic, and I got angry many times because, and I see also sometimes, you know, with my eyes in schools, some dynamic that are a bit mafiosa dynamic, and I get so angry because I don't accept it, you know. I would like to change it, and sometimes I can do something, even if I have to lose something like money, stuff like that, or opportunities, yeah, or I just create more problems in my life to fight, let's say, this system, even if it's not so evident in the north of Italy, yeah, it's more evident in the south. But at the same time, when you study, you know more than what you experience. So I learn a lot of stuff, and I I remember that many times I felt a big rage inside myself, and but the problem is that when you and I felt a hate, you know, I was hating these people, but then when you cannot do anything, you end up to hate yourself, basically, yeah. So at one point, I noticed that I was just hating myself. So I don't know. It's difficult to because I cannot. I have hard time to accept this situation. Like you, I guess you have hard time to accept what's going on there with hostages, with Israel and Palestinians and stuff. Even if that's more that is worst, let's say, yes. But I don't know if you hate yourself at the end because you can. I mean, at least you have someone to hate that you can, let's say, uh, you. I don't know. You can make your anger real toward someone that is concrete in your life, which is yourself. But yes, I guess it's a big problem. I sometimes I wonder, should I accept mafia? Should I accept the situation to live better? Because I don't know if that's the solution, you know. Because if everybody's accept the situation, it's never going to change anything. So I don't know how to solve it. So I agree that sometimes, like you said before, the best thing is not to do anything. But I think I don't think that's the solution. You know, I think
of course not.
there could be done something. There could be done
Of
something.
course, of course. When I talked about not doing something, it's only when your emotions are very, very strong.
Yeah, yeah. So I don't know. Yeah. So the problem, I guess, is the what can be done when the emotion are not that strong. Yeah.
Here I have a suggestion too, and that and that is more or less what I am doing in this podcast. First of all, um,
But sorry, Arnon, are you publishing this podcast with video or just audio? How can you tell me how is going on?
uh, first of all, however you prefer, if you have some my default for publishing is with the video on YouTube, but without parts that you feel uncomfortable with, or without the video if you feel uncomfortable with the video. Uh, so nothing will be published against your total consent.
Okay, so it's going to go to your YouTube, right?
Yeah,
Okay, okay, yeah,
to my YouTube, and to then I publish it on Facebook.
all right.
And the idea of this podcast is I call it Brothers to a Disagreement. In Hebrew, it sounds better. It plays on the concept of brothers in arms, and instead of in arms, to a disagreement. Never mind. It means that if we have a disagreement, it means that we share something. We share something that is important for us, that we're willing to argue about. It means that we have common values. And I invite people, friends, and people I don't know to argue with me. Uh, and what is behind this idea is that, and to do it in a certain way. What is behind this idea is a kind of, do you know of restorative justice? Have you heard of
No, what is it?
restorative justice? Is a conception of justice which is rather modern, or well, it's some say it's actually quite ancient in certain societies. It's uh, a concept of justice that is based on a very different procedure of justice that we know from our judicial system. In the restorative justice process, it's I'll tell you like the outlines, the basic outlines. The attacker meets with the victim, with the moderator, or maybe other representatives from the community, representatives from each of the attacker and the victims' families, and they talk about what happened. The victim explains how the attacker hurt him, and how it hurt his life, the consequences of what he did. The attacker uh, is supposed to take responsibility over what he has done and the consequences, and but also the attacker explains his point of view, why he has done what he has done. And usually what comes out of this conversation, and then they talk about compensation, so which has to be consensual. Never mind. What is important is that usually what comes out of these conversations, this process, is a kind of a mutual understanding between the victim and the aggressor for each one's point of view. And usually what comes out is that usually the reasons for the aggressor to do what he has done have to do with the system. There are usually systematic problems. This is my cat. She wants to sit on my lap, but I don't want to allow her right now. Is that there are problems in the system. Uh, for example, this is a very, I don't know, might be controversial example, but such as, but you know, it can be poverty, or it can be, um, someone is very poor and the system doesn't help him get food, so he goes and steals, and he stole something from someone. I don't know, maybe something like that. But it can be something different, like there's a book by a psychologist called Alice Miller that talks about education and how education can make people violent. And she talks about the Prussian education and the education in Germany and German societies, and how it brought about Nazism and the Holocaust. She says, she talks about the way in Prussian culture, the people wanted their children to be tough, and they wanted them to be tough, and they wanted them to be obedient. So what they did is whenever they punished the child, and they punished the child whenever the child went against them, against the parent, against the authority, and they would put him on a on a table and whip him with the belt, and they would stop whipping with the belt only when the child would stop crying and screaming. Only when the child stopped, they would stop. And this taught the child to hold his pain and to not express it, not express pain and not go against the authority. And this got created a buildup of aggression, of pain and aggression. And in this society, which was rather a Christian society, there was and you couldn't go against your parents, you couldn't go against your I don't know, the preacher, and you can't go against the teachers. Who can you go against? Who can you express your anger towards? The Jews. The Jews were a weak community, and they killed Jesus, so it's okay to be aggressive towards them, or it's not okay on the outside, but no one will say anything if you will kick a Jew. I don't know, something like that. And this later developed into Nazism and all that. This is what she says. I don't know if it's true, but to me it sounds quite true. Now, this is an example of a systematic problem. The Prussian people, the German societies, they didn't think that wanting to make their children tough and obedient will turn them into monsters. They didn't know that. They didn't think that. But this was the outcome of their system of punishment. So this is a way in which we need if we want to solve an individual problem, we need to fix something in society. And this view of justice is different from the retributive understanding of justice, which focuses more on the action of an individual, if it was right or wrong, and how this person should be punished because of what he has done. The restorative justice conception is less about looking for who to blame and more about how to change things that they will be better, that people will not uh, need to steal, or that people don't punish their children like the Prussians did. You know, how we change the system and compensate the victims. We do still need to compensate the victims, but the responsibility is usually not. We have to look at it more holistically, systematically, and and when we argue, when I argue in this podcast, when I argue with a person that thinks, for instance, there are many, 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 many Israelis right now that think that the best thing to do right now is to bomb Gaza, and to that there are hostages there. What can you do? Hamas has to be eradicated from this world, or they will do it again and again and again. Many people think that in Israel. I don't think that. I think that is wrong. I think this is the kind of thinking that is creating all these problems from our side, from the Israeli side, but also from the Palestinian side. So what I am doing, and what I'm doing in this podcast, is I'm trying to change minds, but these Israelis that think we should bomb Gaza, I don't think that they have. I don't think that they're evil. I don't think that they're stupid. I don't think anything. I don't hate them at all. They're my brothers. I don't hate them. Sometimes I get really angry. Sometimes I even hate some of them. So they're far right religious Israelis, Jews that do really nasty things to Palestinians in the West Bank. Really nasty things. I hate whenever I see, an article about it or a movie or something. I feel such hatred towards the the far right uh, religious Jews. But then I meet them. Then I meet them, and I have friends who are like that, and I see that they're good people. They're good people, and I disagree with what they think. I strongly disagree with what they think, but they're not bad people in the sense that they're not evil. What makes them do what they do is how their belief system. It's just their belief system. As I believe is this exactly the same with the mafia. The mafia people, I believe, are people that think that what they are doing is the right and just thing to do in a a corrupt society as ours. They believe that those people in power, the prime minister and the government and the policemen and all that, they're the really corrupt people. And by doing our thing, by being the mafia, we are keeping the real justice. We are the good guys. They are the bad guys. And what I think should be done, or the best thing that could be done in such a situation, is to try to talk with these people from the mafia or people that support them, and not blame them, not say that you are bad and you are evil and all that. Sorry, am I boring you?
No, no, it's because I didn't sleep that this night tonight so much, so I'm quite tired. Yes, you see my.
So, what do you think about this idea? So I say we shouldn't argue with them. We shouldn't. Sorry, we shouldn't blame the mafia. We shouldn't blame them. We shouldn't go against them, and all that. What we should do, the best thing we could do, we could invite them and talk to them and argue with them and see why they think what they are doing is right, and check their premises and allow them to check our premises, my premises, and find find truth together. Find the truth.
Yeah, okay, I agree that blaming them is not the best solution. At the same time, it's really difficult to talk with them, in a rational way, because as you said, they think they decide to be the good part. So they think that the state is corrupted, the government is corrupted, and since you cannot trust the state, and the state doesn't give you anything good, doesn't do anything good for you, you have to do by yourself, you know. So you have to reach your goals by yourself by using all the strategies, all the instruments you have. And so they, in a way, I guess, like you said, in their mind, they feel legitimate in doing what they do. Yeah. Even because I don't know if they think it's right, all of them, but at least they think that if they don't do it, there are other people doing the same. Yeah. So in a way, that's the word, that's the life. Yes, that's the human condition. So it becomes a kind of fight among people to get money, resources, opportunity to steal. Um, uh, but they they don't really, I guess that to have a rational discussion, there must be a minimum of trust, among people. And these kind of people, they don't trust at all. Yeah, they don't trust at all. So they lie. They keep lying. They keep believing in their own lies. They transform the world through the speech, and they believe in that transformation. They create a new reality with words, basically. They in a way that they are really in a bad faith. I don't know if you remember the concept of bad faith by Sartre, that in a way, when you believe to be something, yeah, when you don't see the possibilities you have in your life, in your condition, you create a rigid identity. In a way, that's bad faith, yeah, because all the humans have the opportunities to modify something in each moment of their life about themselves to become a bit different. Yeah.
Hmm.
So when you believe to have a fixed, rigid identity, to believe, it's a way uh, to avoid the responsibility connected to the freedom of the human condition. And Sartre calls this condition bad faith. Yeah, when you believe in something that you created in your mind, yeah, you believe to be that, and you don't want to see all the other possibilities connected with your condition. Yeah, it's a way to escape freedom, by the way. Try to escape freedom, even if we are condemned to be free, like Sartre says. And so it's really difficult to have a real dialogue with such people, because they don't want to have a dialogue with themselves. They don't want to. They have a hard time to face reality. They try to, basically, they reject reality in each possible way. Yes.
I think that, and it is, ironic or funny. I guess that they are thinking exactly the same way about us.
Probably yes.
And I kind of have, I think I have a solution to this problem,
Hmm.
which is exactly one of the points of this podcast and what we did in the past, what I call attentive speaking. This idea of attentive speaking is a way, is also a way, one of the things that I believe it does is it builds trust between two people that disagree with each other. It helps build trust. Uh, I'll remind you how it goes, okay? And I developed it a little bit. So attentive speaking is the idea that the speaker has the responsibility to be attentive to his listener. I'm now speaking to you. I have a responsibility to be attentive to your listening needs. This means that I should three things, more or less. One, I should look at you when I speak. It's nothing. Nothing is too, strict, but I should look at you when I speak to you. Two, I should speak at a language and at a pace that is easy for you to follow. There are many people in arguments that speak very quickly. So this I learned actually, I think, from Oscar. Slow down, speak slowly, and simply and clearly. Yeah, these are all things I learned from Oscar. And the third thing, most important thing, which actually I think is also something that is applied in Oscar's work, and that is the speaker must always be ready to stop if the listener asks him to. If the listener wants to raise an objection or say he didn't understand something or um, ask a question, the listener must always be ready to stop. And this way, if say we are arguing and you hear me say something which you think is a blatant lie, I'm now lying in your face. If in regular conversation in which you are not supposed to interrupt me or stuff like that, I will go on saying this lie or what I might think it's the truth, but you think it's a lie. And all the rest I will say, you won't listen to it and you won't trust me or say I'm just a mafioso lying to himself. But if you can stop me and say, hold on, please repeat what you just said now. Okay, I say it. And then you start asking me questions about this. And I will answer. And either my answers will satisfy you, or they will not, and you will continue to check my premises. And this way, uh, trust will be built between us. Whether you like my answers or not, just me allowing you to check my premises, to check my thinking, creates trust. And if it is mutual, I allow you to check me, and you allow me to check you. This creates trust between us.
So it's a bit like a philosophical practice, but in double direction, in both direction, right?
Exactly.
So it's more symmetric.
Yes. And I think this is an important difference that creates trust. When it is one-sided, either you trust the philosopher, the authority, the questioner, or you don't trust. And and if you don't trust and you allow yourself to be interrogated, can be very unpleasant, and probably the trust won't build. Yeah, for the trust to be built, you have to be able to question the questioner. Wait, what do you mean? I think.
Okay.
Um, Now, maybe tell me if you feel like continuing, or
Uh,
how much time do you have, or
yeah, I have like let's say 7, 8 minutes. Then I have to go.
okay, great. So I think it might be enough time, but maybe we should not go further. I thought about, I invited you to talk about absolute truth. It's a subject that I think is very important right now. The idea of truth. I think a lot of what's going on in the world, of the polarization, Trump, Netanyahu, Putin, all these strongman leaders. It has a lot to do with how humanity in general is the relationship between society, humanity, and truth. I think truth is something that has gone quite weak lately. Fake news, leaders, Trump saying whatever he wants. His uh, his crowd is cheering for him even when he's blatantly telling a lie. They like it. They say yes. It shows that you are powerful. That you can say a lie and no one can do anything about it. It's a sign of power. So I think truth has a lot to do, how we understand truth has a lot to do with what's going on in the world right now, and especially in regard to violence. Of course, in the Palestinian-Israeli conflict too, and I think that yeah. So I think it's an important topic, and I will be happy to talk with you about it. But next time, or if you would like to say a few words about it.
It's funny that you are proposing this topic because I don't know if you know, but with Matthias, Matthias and I, we just wrote a book about truth. We've we've been spending, I think, more than 1 year to write this book. The name of the book, the title is The Multiplicity of Truth, and we basically analyzed more than 20 different conception of truth, and one of them is absolute truth. so, so, I mean, eh, I mean, it's a way to analyze, the different conception that human elaborate and propose during the history and nowadays as well about this truth. So I don't know if truth exists, let's say, but for sure there are a lot of conceptions, different conception about truth. There is the
Yeah,
religious conception, there is the scientist conception, there is the artistic conception, there is pragmatic conception, there is absolute conception. Yeah. So yeah, I can propose right now one short reflection, is if it's okay with you.
yes,
Uh, um, what I notice is that we live in a kind of paradox, I guess, right now, because on one hand, we live in a relativistic society. Yeah, we think that all the opinions are okay. Anyone is allowed to have his own opinion. Yeah, so relativism. But then we see, like you said before, that there is a tendency of everyday more people, let's say, to impose their opinion on others. Yeah. So the idea is that I guess there is a relationship between relativism and absolutism, even if we tend to perceive them as opposite, and in a way they are opposite. Yeah, I think they are linked together, and I think a possible link is that behind the relativism, usually there is a hidden absolutism.
of course. I would say, of course, yeah.
Because when you say, okay, that's my opinion or it's your opinion, yeah, it, it sounds a way to avoid the confrontation, you know. It sounds a way not to have a real dialogue with the other person. It sounds a way to remain in your own position, yeah, to defend your idea by saying, okay, I am allowed to have that opinion, but don't touch it, please, don't touch it, don't question it. So that's why I say is a paradox, because at the same time we live in a relativistic and absolutistic times, yeah, of society, and I think there is an explanation, and I think that this may be one of the explanation to link these two opposite concepts together. This is the short reflection I propose to you.
Yeah. So, would you like to meet again soon and talk about it, or what do you say?
Yeah, yeah, it could be fun, yes, and maybe. mm, During, I don't know, next day, so next week we could schedule another meeting. Yeah, but all the time when I have to schedule a meeting, I have to ask because I'm not a free guy anymore. So, but yes, let's see how and when we can organize the second, say, part of the confrontation. Yeah.
Great, great, amazing. So, okay, so let's end this meeting, and Do you have anything you want to say at all to sum up our conversation?
Well, okay. Uh, uh, I want to propose the idea that the real problem is not the impotence itself, but is the way we relate with our impotence. Because in a way, we all are impotent. Yeah, we. I mean, not in everything, but in something, we all are impotent. Yeah, and more we are greedy, more we want, the more we have to face impotence. Yeah, usually impotent are greedy people. They want so much, but they cannot modify so much. Yes. So in a way, reducing our greedy side and to reducing our desires sometimes can be a way to be less impotent. Yeah, to accept more what we have already, what we are already, or ourselves. And but of course, when we can do something, I think we should do something. Yeah. So I guess that in a way, from one perspective, we should accept what we cannot change, but at the same time, we should focus more on what we can do, on what we can change. Even if it's just a short part, a small part, I think it's really important for everybody to do it. Yeah, because even just because you have this feeling of power, yes, even, but of course, if you want to change the world, you're gonna feel impotent all the time. Yeah, but if you want to modify just a little thing in every day in your life, and maybe you're gonna feel more powerful. You're gonna be more powerful because you're gonna be more active, and you're gonna see some little consequence of your actions. So yeah, this is just a last. It's not a summary of everything we said because we said very many things, but I think is a little summary of an important part of the discussion we had today.
Yes. I'm not sure I agree with all of what you said, but I will keep it for next time.
Yeah, sure, sure. Yeah.
Amazing.
Okay.
Andrea,
Thank you. See you
thank you
soon.
very much. See you soon.
Thank you.
Bye.